So today's topic is you are what you attract. So this is based off the point that people believe that opposites attract. And maybe in some cases, but when it comes to matching and certain things, I hear people give you that excuse or that statement, when they want you to match them with someone that has the values they want, but they possibly do not have themselves. An example is a guy or a girl saying, oh, I'm broke right now, I don't have any money, but I want you to match me with someone that's rich and wealthy. Exact words, rich and wealthy. And I'm like, okay, right now, I don't think we have anybody that's rich and wealthy saying, oh, I think you need to match me with someone that's broke right now. I don't want anyone rich and wealthy like me. Please match me with someone broke. Because if I had someone like that, then I'll just match both of you, right? I don't have that. Let me give you an example. So we had a girl come on the platform and she was out of shape, and she was like, this is the kind of guy I want. And she goes ahead to send pictures. And this picture she sends of good looking guys, physically fit, people that actually take care of themselves. And I was like, okay. And then before I could see anything, she was like, I know I sent you my pictures. I know I'm not physically, fit. I'm out of shape. I know I don't look that way. But I want you to match me with someone that looks this way, opposites attract. And I'm like, okay, that would make sense, Let me look. We don't have anyone on the platform that's physically fit, good looking, takes care of himself, that's like, please, I need you to match me with someone that's not physically fit. Make sure she's out of shape. Make sure she doesn't take care of herself. Like, that's my type, And this is not to say that rich people don't end up with broke people or physically fit people don't end up with out of shape people. So this is not to say that, obviously. I'm saying that that's not what they go out searching for. It's not one of their requirements. You don't have the requirement of a rich person saying, please match me with a broke person. If they do end up with a broke person, it's because chances just happened. Maybe they went to hang out with someone and talk to different people. They hang out within the same circles, met the person, really fell in love with the person's personality, and they ended up together. Or for any other reason, maybe the person is just different reasons, but it wasn't something that was on their requirement, on their list. Like, I'm rich, one of the things I want is someone that looks good, that is broke. If it wasn't on the list initially. So that's what I mean. Like, when you tell me, oh, match me with this person that's the opposite of who I am or what I have or what I am, and hoping that that person is looking for the opposite of what they are as well. It's, yeah. So recently we had a lady sign up on the platform and she chose profiles she was interested in. She chose all well-traveled people that were living outside the country, studied outside the country, and it was very different from our own profile, And then I asked her why, because at a point in time, all those profiles she chose, they didn't choose to be matched with her. So it's almost like the whole, your spec is not your spec. But I was trying to ask her why she chose those profiles. Like, is there something she wanted, that she wanted in a person that she found in those profiles? So we could help look towards that direction. And so she was like, oh, I chose the profiles because I want someone that's well-traveled and exposed. And I feel like if you studied outside the country, you're exposed. And I was like, okay. So according to her definition, she's not well-traveled or exposed because according to her, she's never traveled outside the country. She didn't study outside the country. So according to her definition, she's not well-traveled or exposed. And I'm like, so how come you want that? And she's like, well, she wants the opposite of, kind of person she is. And I'm like, okay, if you think you're not the kind of person you want to date, what makes you think other people should want to date you? Why should someone that's, according to you, well-traveled and exposed, seek, in their list, should be like, oh, I want someone that's cute, not well-traveled, funny, hopefully not exposed, why should that be on their criteria in their list if it's not on yours? If it's something you don't think is good enough, why should someone else want it, And it's almost like that question we always ask, like, would you date yourself? Clearly, in her case, she wouldn't date herself. She felt like, well, she's not well exposed or traveled, or well traveled, sorry. So she wouldn't date herself. So why would you want someone else to date you? Like, why would those be the qualities you want to present to someone else? Like, here, but you feel like it's not good enough for you? Because what she's saying is that the other guys, your girl, so the guys that are not well exposed or well traveled or exposed, you mean you cannot date them? That means you just look at them like they're not on your level, quote unquote. They're not on your level, so you can't date them. But you want someone else to see you and be like, oh yes, I want to date you. Yeah, I feel like if you look down on a certain characteristic or a certain quality and something, I don't think you should expect people to want that same thing as well. People don't like certain things generally. So if you're attracted to someone that's well traveled and overly exposed, start doing some traveling. Start doing some traveling. You will meet the person there's if start doing the traveling if that's what you want. But if you're open to everybody, whether they're well traveled or exposed or guinea, that's where you might end up with someone that's even well traveled and exposed. You never know who you might end up with. But when you're fixated on that, you kind of narrow your choices, because now all your choices are just that. And if all of them say no, then there's nothing you can do. If you want somebody that's good looking, maybe run a comb through your hair, take care of yourself too. And at least you would attract someone that likes that as well, which obviously you like too. Let's just try and realize that the things we want, other people want it as well.